Production. What up, sports fans? Happy Monday. Welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast presents Sport Breakers. I am one of your hosts, Juan. I am joined by Craig, 1-0.
The one and only. What up?
Man, it's game week. We've waited 9 months.
Yeah, last week we had a little taste, but this week it's full-blown action. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then you wait 2 more days. We're back into the swing of things again with not a full slate, a couple games of NFL, a couple games of college. So, man, next week, best weekend of the year. I've said that multiple times. Best weekend of the year by far.
Speaking of the weekend, did you have a good week? Good weekend?
I did.
Did you watch the Florida State Georgia Tech game?
Watched it, tuned in, start to finish. I woke up a little bit past 10, like 10:15, and I was like, college game days, like that realization.
You see Seamus?
I did see Seamus. What's his whole thing like for the bro or for the fellas?
The fellas, yeah. He's the only one who picked Georgia Tech.
Wrong.
Besides you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can start there. Seamus was a good guest picker. I know it was kind of short and sweet, but he's in Ireland, Dublin. Man bleeds the green. You can tell through his attire and everything in wrestling. So I feel like he was a good guest picker. Like you said, only one to pick Georgia Tech.
So, speaking of game day, and I saw this come up on Sports Center. Not really like it actually didn't come up on Sports Center because I don't think ESPN has the testes to talk about it. But what do you think of some people being upset with Pat McAfee? How he was just taking shots, drinking beers on camera. He said
the pub.
He said he got high in the plane on the way there. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, Pat McAfee is gold right now. ESPN needs Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee doesn't need ESPN.
They would, first off, I think they're already in a massive contract with them. So it's kind of their fault for being in that situation. But if you like the guy, if you don't like the guy, he's big energy. He has probably the main show on ESPN right now.
Yeah. Every day of the week, Monday through Friday.
It's a great show with AJ Hawk and the crew that he has. The dude's kind of like the.
You see, he picked West Virginia this week.
Did he really? Hey, it crossed my mind to pick West Virginia.
He's got them going all the way to the Big 12 championship.
I saw him pick that, but this week against Penn State, it's crossed my mind. I'm not a big believer in Drew Aller or Penn State, but that's another topic. But yeah, no, like I picked Georgia Tech last week. I said that I based it off the college football game because I said they were pretty hard on there. But in all actuality, like I said, they had just gotten a 5-star to commit a couple days prior. They got a 4-star today. They're in the heart of Atlanta. So imagine if a kid can't go to Georgia and now he's like, well, Georgia Tech's just as good. They're in the ACC. They have money. They have engineering degrees. It's going to be a little bit tougher to get some of the kids in that don't have the grades, but they're in a prime location to be good. Haynes Keene coming back off of last year, what he did last year, I knew that they had the quarterback spot secure, whereas Florida State, you had a lot of question marks with Jordan Travis leaving, Keon Coleman leaving, that other wide receiver, I think a running back left. They had a lot of holes to fill, and that's why I put it with Georgia Tech.
You don't think this is like a overseeing week 0, or do you think the ACC still goes through Clemson?
I would say Clemson just because they're still. I haven't seen Miami. I don't know if Miami's legit or not. They were recruited really well, but Clemson's the only other proven team in the ACC. North Carolina lost everybody. Florida State's kind of rebuilding, so we don't know.
Is
The thing is, even
Mac
though
Brown coming back?
Mac Brown is there, yeah. But even though Florida State lost last week, they can still win the conference.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So Florida State's
it's a
not dead.
way too early prediction.
Yeah, Florida State's not dead, but I mean, it does kind of hurt. But if Florida State were to turn around and run the conference, win the championship game, they're still the 4th seed in the playoffs, 3rd seed.
And what the top, and that's what's kind of crazy is we'll get into it as the season progresses, but is it the top 11 college football playoff ranking teams make it in?
The 4 conference champions are guaranteed a bye week.
Okay.
ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC. 4 conference champions are guaranteed a bye week, and then they rank them in order after that.
Oh, okay.
So, say, hypothetically, last year, Alabama wins the SEC, but everybody knows Georgia's the number 2 in that conference. Everybody knows Georgia's the number 2 outside of the top 4. Georgia would have been number 5. And then they play the 12 seed, 6 plays 11, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's crazy to think about that. Like last year, we would be sitting here saying they lost to an interconference rival, not even a rival, but an interconference opponent. They still have Florida on the schedule. They still have, I think, Miami and Clemson. I'm not 100% sure of the schedule, but last year you would say they were dead in the water. They could lose that one game, maybe one more, beat a couple good teams, and still make the playoffs at the 11 spot.
Yeah.
So
before we go deeper into the college football week 1, let's talk some NFL preseason. Last night finished up the preseason for the NFL. Next up is next Thursday, September the 5th, Thursday night. Baltimore Ravens at Kansas City. We're not going to do that prediction. That prediction will be next Monday on Labor Day. So if you I hope you don't have any Labor Day plans because we're going to be talking some football.
No, I mean I'll be able to make it. I'll be good. I'll be good.
So we'll do NFL Week 1 predictions next Monday. We'll talk about college football Week 2. Did you catch
a recap of Week 1?
Did you catch the NBC preseason game last night? It was the Patriots at the Commanders.
I watched the bulk of it. Yeah, Drake May looked pretty good. Joe Milton had some bright spots. The Commanders jerseys looked pretty good. I like those black and yellow. Black and yellow. There was a couple standouts. The running game looked pretty good for Washington. It was a fun game, even though it was fairly low in scoring. It was still a fun watch.
So preseason's over. I don't look too much into preseason stats, even though a majority of the NFL that we're going to ready to talk to today is all about CeeDee Lamb signing that 4-year extension with the Dallas Cowboys.
Boomer!
So I'm not too worried anymore about going into the season. What do you think about Trey Lance though? Like Jerry Jones flat out said he's sticking on the roster, even though he just got done throwing 5 picks in the preseason finale.
I'll put it this way: you take 3-4 of those turnovers away. He did fumble twice on top of that. It's rough to look at those numbers and sit there and say, how do you still have an active roster spot? But when you look at what he did outside of the turnovers, if by some way, somehow they're able to get his decision-making better, his ability to read defenses. I don't know what the fault was. Is he just being a gunslinger and he got interceptions where they tip balls? I didn't watch the game.
I still think he makes it past week 7. I think somebody's going to trade for him and they're going to trade him away.
Yes, he's got too much talent to just be chilling there, man.
Yeah.
Like the numbers prove that he has talent. Yes, it's preseason, but 310 yards passing, 100 yards rushing. The dude obviously can ball. He just
I
has some decision making issues.
I see him being traded to the Minnesota Vikings before Week 7.
Very possible. Give him like a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick. Dallas gets out of Trey Lance in the contract. They get a little bit of what they got for or traded
And
for him.
am I not mistaken? Is Dalvin Cook still in Minnesota?
No.
No? Where's he at?
Dalvin Cook was traded. Um, Dalvin Cook is with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know
Derrick
about them.
Henry and and oof.
Yeah.
Ravens run game is going to be pretty good this year. I believe so.
You've been playing Madden. Is that all everybody's using online? Kansas City and Baltimore?
The Ravens are who I use. I just like
Look at you.
I know, top guy. I like that style. I like the pistol triple option. I like the whole shebang of that. The motion. I've used the Ravens for 5 years on Madden now. It feels like that's what I like. I think their defense is solid. I like their offense. They run the 3-4 primarily on their playbook, so that's what I like. But I did also use the Chargers, and I've used the Chargers a little bit this year, but they're god awful.
I saw a lot of people are hyping up Seattle's offense. I know a lot of people thought that Seattle probably wasn't going to come back and be as good as last year without Pete Carroll, but they looked really good in the preseason finale. Geno Smith is back at the helm, I believe. You think they make any kind of noise in that already tough NFC West?
They ain't right back. They ain't right. That division is one of the toughest. Just because you know San Francisco's defense is solid. Their offense is pretty potent.
But I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody is already crowning them as NFC.
I'm not crowning them. I'm just saying they have everything you need to be the best team in
football.
Not just that division, but that conference and football. Period. Yeah. And then you move down, and it's like the Rams are kind of healthy. Cooper Kupp's back. They still have Stafford. It's still Sean McVay. Like,
it's a tough division.
It's a tough division. Kyler Murray's back and healthy. They just got Marvin Harrison Jr. If he balls out in his rookie year and is just a complete stud, Kyler Murray's proven that he can throw for 3,500 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his rookie year, he was MVP considerations, and then he got hurt. But, it's a tough division. New coach. It is the preseason. You can't take too much out of preseason. I mean, the Bears are 4-0. So they beat Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud. The teams, not them. But I think Seattle's a good question mark, though. They could be 10, 11 wins and squeeze into the playoffs. They could also be 7, 8 wins and miss the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's they're right there on the medium. How good is their defense? Is Geno going to be able to play up to what he played a majority of the season last year? If yes, they're in the playoffs. If not,
So let's
Jordan Addison, 6-game suspension for the Vikings. So there's another weapon down for them.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Do you think he's going to be any good up there?
You know what, man? You can never tell anymore about some of these old veterans that have been in the league for a while, that have just been sitting back, learning and learning and learning. He was a first round pick for a reason. He was a 3-year starter at USC for a reason. He had all that hype for some reason. So
Colin Coward.
He could be like some of those quarterbacks that just never made or hit that potential, but now that they have a decent
couple years under their belt,
maybe they could make a run. So I don't know. I've always been, I think, other than Mark Sanchez,
The sand giant.
I think Sam Darnold is probably one of my most recent favorite USC quarterbacks. And let's not, wasn't he a Sarkisian guy? Was he a Sark guy, or
Uh,
is that way far back?
you're talking about Darnold?
Sam Darnold, yeah.
He was a Helton guy.
Okay.
Clay Helton and possibly old boy at Lane Kiffin.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lane Kiffin. But
I believe he was Clay Helton because Clay Helton had a couple good years where they went. They had pretty good years there. 11-2, played Penn State in the Rose Bowl.
yep.
That was the Sam Darnold year, but I'm curious. Sam Darnold, USC, 2017 to. Oh.
Sark was way before that. Then I think.
No, I think Sark was like 18, 19. They let him go fairly early. So I want to say it was Clay Helton. He was probably recruited by Lane Kiffin and then got there with Clay Helton. And him and Clay Helton had a good year or two. And then that third year is when he didn't. Yeah, he had 2 good years. The second year, he was a sophomore, he started, had that 11-2 year. Then that third year, they fell apart about week 5. And then he got drafted.
You know who he kind of reminds me of? He reminds me of Brady Quinn a lot. Just in the way he was set up with Notre Dame, had a really good year, and then they were picked to win a lot of games the following year, and then didn't quite live up to that potential.
I remember.
Yeah.
I was a big Notre Dame fan back in the day. Old Jeff Samardzija.
Jeff Samardzija.
Come on now. That dude was a stud.
Charlie White.
Charlie Weiss. Yeah. I remember watching a hype video of that, and I was like, yo, this is so awesome.
We're going to pick a Notre Dame game in just a little bit, right? Don't they play this weekend?
That's the biggest game on the weekend, outside of, hometown teams. But
so we'll finish. That'll be the final game we pick. Let's start with Thursday. Why wait any longer? North Dakota State University at the highly coveted,
overrated.
Some people say. We'll see. Colorado. Yeah, they did fall off last year though, but this is the first year in the Big 12. I think a little easier of a conference than last year's Pac-12. I mean, I don't know, man. You had to play Washington State, Oregon. Those are some tough teams. There's not a team in the Big 12 right now that's close to Washington and Oregon.
Utah. So maybe not on Oregon's level, but overall, as a deeper conference, they struggled against pretty much everybody outside of the first 3 weeks. They almost beat USC, but USC has 0 defense, and offense is kind of what they were, their biggest thing.
Who you everything out the door last year? They're coming into a new conference. It's in Colorado. Thursday night, opening up the season. Who do you got?
Just because it's in Boulder.
That's a nice Boulder.
My heart says North Dakota State. My head says Colorado just because, Travis Hunter is a dog. Travis Hunter's that dude, man. He made so many plays last year on the defensive side of the ball where you were just like, he's got it. Like that ball hawk, knowing where to go, knowing how to, play the angles right and get the interceptions. If he's able to sustain health and be successful on both sides of the ball, because you're asking him to play a lot of snaps. They added in some size on the line. They brought in a couple new coaches, Warren Sapp and Phil Lodeholt from Oklahoma. So they got good line coaches on both sides of the ball. I think they get this one, but I'm not going to say it's by a big margin that you're just like, they're the real deal. Probably like 14, 17. North Dakota State's a solid FCS school. So
I'm gonna go with Colorado. Yeah,
the line is Colorado by 10. So
Colorado by 10.
17. It's pretty good. Pretty good number.
Yeah, I don't think I can't count against Coach Prime. Prime. The second game on that Thursday evening, North Carolina at Minnesota. I'm going North Carolina.
I'm going to go Minnesota. I know it's at no, it's actually it's at Minnesota. PJ Fleck in Minnesota had that whole offseason thing where it seemed like they were about to get canceled. I think North Carolina lost a little bit too much with Drake May and everybody kind of leaving, but at the end of the day, it is still a Mac Brown coach team. They're not going to come in and just be some slouches. But I think going into Minnesota, 7:00, first game of the season at night. Minnesota's going to hang their hat on defense more so than anything. So give me Minnesota in that one.
Oof. And then we got a lot of Friday games for Friday night. We got 3 Friday games. Let's do TCU at Stanford first.
Quick one. I just wanted to throw it in there because there are 2 big names. Give me TCU. Stanford is not very good at football right now.
I'll go TCU as well. FAU at Michigan State. I'm going Michigan State.
Yeah, give me Michigan State. It's in Michigan, so.
Temple at 16th ranked Oklahoma. Friday night OU kickoff. I got OU. I got OU big.
Man, it's going to be a fairly. The team's going to be complete. We're going to be missing a couple wide receivers, mainly just holding them out for health reasons. But we're going to get to see some young cats shine. Gavin Sawcheck's going to be our starter. Javante Barnes coming back from injury, so hopefully they're good to go. Hopefully the offensive line looks good. Hopefully they just take care of business against Temple. But
and Temple's nobody, right?
Yeah, I mean Matt Rule's not walking in that door anytime soon for them. So give me OU big. And I think they look dominant in doing so. I think they look solid.
What's big? 56-10?
I'm thinking, depending on how they want to coach it, they can go as big as they want. I honestly think it's going to be like a 63-14 type thing. I think you're going to see 2 defensive scores, 3 or 4 turnovers. And I think Arnold has about 350 yards passing. I think it's going to be a big day for both sides.
And it's a night game too, right?
6:00. They're changing up a bunch of stuff this year. They got a new Walk of Champions, which is coming right through where all the tailgating is happening instead of off of Lindsay Street. They just announced that they're doing a Toby Keith third, fourth quarter song, kind of like Florida does. Won't back down, but a lot of stuff changing up. Venables sounded really, really just like there was no setbacks in his presser today. So
what is that on? Is it going to be on ESPN?
That game is on the ESPN. Yeah, it is the primetime Friday night game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Monday night being over, Craig. You only got 3 weekday nights left until that game. Are you excited?
The more the seconds tick by, the more I'm just like starting to hear it. Just like, I'm still contemplating. I want to go to the game so bad, but I'm just. I
know you're not a fan of the heat.
No, it's going to be 80 degrees.
Oh, is it?
It's going to be like perfect football weather, but I love the atmosphere, but I feel like I don't get the full. I love to watch the game. I love to break it down and see it overhead and see all that stuff. And I feel like when I go to the game, I don't get to see all that, even though the environment's great. I like to be able to watch it and see it and break it down and have all the stuff going on the side. Plus, it is free to do so. Even though tickets are $24 right now. but it's gonna be a fantastic game.
Let's go Saturday kickoff. Clemson at number 1 Georgia. Number 14 at number 1. Isn't that on a neutral site though?
In Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. So
Yeah. Oh.
call it neutral, however you want. It's Georgia's the new Alabama, where they don't play anybody outside of neutral, or because Alabama going to Texas was like their first actual road game in a long time, and look what that happened. You know what I'm saying? I almost lost it, but yeah, give me Georgia by 14.
You think you think it's gonna just they'll run away with it?
I think Clemson keeps it close a little bit. Georgia's got so many people. If Cade Klubnik can hold up against that Georgia defense and rush, Clemson has a chance. But I'm definitely taking the over on the line. It's 13.5, so I'm taking the over on the line for sure.
Yeah, I think they're too much. I'll go Georgia as well. Number 8, Penn State at West Virginia. I'd like to see an upset. I'm going to go with Pat McAfee. I'm going to go West Virginia.
Like I said, I don't believe Drew Aller is that guy. West Virginia is bringing back Garrett Green and some of their wide receivers. I'm going to go with you. I think it's an upset. I think it's one that people are just going to gloss over because Penn State has that number 8. Preseason rankings don't matter, as we all saw with Florida State last week. You have to go in and prove it. They're playing at West Virginia. If it was at Penn State, it's a completely different story. But give me some of those wild West Virginia fans to turn up the heat on the Penn State.
Oh, they're wild too. All right. Number 19 Miami at Florida. Is it in the swamp?
It's in the swamp. But Miami doesn't have to travel far. Their fans are still going to be there.
That's true. Like you said, though, preseason rankings don't matter. Give me Florida to chomp big. I like Florida at home. I think Miami's always been overrated, even with the NIL. I'm going Florida.
Yeah, Cam Ward's going to be a pretty good quarterback for them this year, but I don't think everybody's looking at that Florida schedule and they're just like, there's no way they're going to survive it. But this is week 1. It's fresh. They're coming in with everything they want or everything they want to give out. I agree. Give me Florida.
Yeah. Colorado State at number 4 Texas.
Threw it on there because it's a Texas game. Give me Texas big. 28 plus.
They finished off the season with a bad taste in their mouth. They were 1 catch away. So, and you know what? All the players that came in from Alabama after Saban decided to leave, I think they're locked and loaded. I think they're super focused in. Sark has done an amazing job, and he's kept these kids focused all off season. I don't like C.J. Baxter being out for the year, but they have plenty of depth at running back.
C.J. Baxter and the backup. They had to go in the portal and get a running back from SMU.
Yeah, no, the third string guy is pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, their top 2 guys are out for this game, which kind of worries me a little bit. But I don't think not having a run game.
The backup will be ready, I think, in the next 2 weeks, though.
Yeah, Texas has enough size on that offensive line to be able to manhandle for the run game.
Jaden Blue's out?
Yeah. He got hurt like 3 days after what's his name did.
Because I saw that was just day-to-day, but I think they might keep him out just because it's Colorado State.
Yeah, I would.
So, yeah, I'll go Texas big. Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt.
I put sleeper game of the week on this whenever I sent it to you.
You did.
Yes, it's not 2 big name teams, but it's not at Virginia Tech. We're not going to have Enter the Sandman, but I think Vanderbilt could be sneaky good, at least for week 1. So I think Vanderbilt pulls this out and beats Virginia Tech.
I like their offense. I'm going Vanderbilt too. Akron at Ohio State, at number 2 Ohio State. I got Ohio
Uh,
State big.
yeah, Ohio State big. Thumbs down.
Western Kentucky at number 5 Alabama. I got Bama big. I don't think it's
Uh,
any close at all.
yeah, give me Bama. Um, I,
I think
we'll
they
see
got
how
a.
that offense goes because
That's
it's a
what I'm gonna.
completely new offense.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say. They got a lot to prove after losing 2 receivers and a tight end to Texas. Nick Saban is no longer there. They also lost like 3 different defensive people to Texas. So even though they lost a lot of people, I still think they have a lot to prove, and I
They
think
still got a lot of talent.
they're
Yeah.
gonna come in pissed off.
They also Bama has a lot on the line. Period. This year, you lose a game or two that you're not supposed to. Those recruits might start to fall because you're no longer backed by Saban. You know what I mean? It's a new animal out there, and if you're not able to prove that you can withstand the day-to-days or the week-to-weeks of being the Bama head coach and keeping that machine rolling off of what he did, they might
So
start to abandon ship.
I got a question. You know how Nick Saban left, and they're doing a comparison on social media how Nick Saban's old timey country looking office is now upgraded because the new coach came in and upgraded. Does Saban take all those trophies with him, or does he have his own to take, and then the school still has their trophies?
I'm sure he has his own fair share. Um, Anything that's like coach of the year or anything like that, they probably get 2 just for the trophy case, and then for him. So anything that's
Like
him being
SEC
a part of it,
championship?
yeah, he might have his own. He might have gotten his own or something, but
He probably gets the ring, but the actual ACC or SEC
SEC.
championship stays in the trophy
But
case.
like coach of the year, SEC coach of the year, or whatever, anything like that would be probably duplicate, and then he takes it. Just like the Heisman. The college has the Heisman, player gets the Heisman.
Idaho at number 3, Oregon. Oregon big.
Yeah. It's going. We threw these in there just because they're top 10, but
Yeah.
it's going to be rough for Idaho that day.
Furman at number 6, Ole Miss. I like to see Ole Miss go big.
Yeah. You got to think somebody's got to have a scare or an upset. We might go through the list and pick who that might be. You know, not necessarily say it's an outright upset, but who might have the biggest scare this week. Give me Ole Miss in this game.
We'll skip over to Sunday, right? No. Fresno State at number 9, Michigan. Michigan big, or is it closer than you think?
Uh,
Now, do you think any team next week? We're talking Texas, Michigan. Do you think any of these 2 teams are overlooking and thinking about the Texas Michigan game?
I'll Fresno State, Michigan might be close in the first half, and then Michigan pulls away. I don't think Texas doesn't have anything to worry about with Colorado State. If there's a game that's going to be close, I think it's going to be Fresno State, Michigan, just because it's a brand new quarterback in Orji, even though he's athletic as can be. Yeah, Orji in the backfield or end zone, as RG3, who's no longer employed, called it. It's yes, there's going to be continuity in the system because what's his name came up from inside the system, but you're losing Blake Corum, you're losing JJ. I think you lost a couple offensive linemen, defensive linemen. So there's some turnover there. How well are they going to be able to maintain that machine that was built up by the cheater, Jim Harbaugh?
Next week should be an interesting pick day. I'm just saying.
Texas, Michigan is going to be fun, dude. That's going to be one of the best games of the year.
Is that a Fox Big Ten game of the week?
That is a Fox Big Noon.
That's an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Could also be their CBS 3:30 game. I don't know yet. Because remember, Fox has it, but they also have CBS.
Right. CBS,
it's 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m. Fox.
Boo. We all know who Matt Liner's fucking picking. USC, number 23 at number 13 LSU.
My heart is telling me that USC is going to be trash. but my head says, look at what Miller Moss did in the bowl game. LSU's defense is pretty bad. It was last year. They got a couple coaches in the offseason. Let's see if that can change it. But
I got LSU big in Death Valley.
no, it's in Vegas.
Oh, is it in Vegas?
Vegas.
Man, I hate these neutral site games because that'd be such
That
a
would be a
game
great environment in Death
for
Valley.
LSU. Yeah,
7:00. Yeah.
I still got LSU.
Yeah.
I don't think Lincoln Riley. I think this is his last year at USC.
Give me LSU, but I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, Lincoln Riley schemes up some stuff to.
Who's his quarterback now?
Miller Moss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Miller Moss, but then you lost Mario Williams, you lost Caleb Williams, you lost Marshawn Lloyd. I think you're still bringing back Bear Alexander on the defensive line. You lost Michael Tarquin, so I mean,
and they
have some people.
They're Big Ten now, right?
Big Ten. The old-fashioned Big Ten SEC. What are we doing here? It's history in the making.
I still like LSU winning. I'm going to say by 10 too.
Yeah, LSU is going to be probably too physical, but if they have trouble scoring, USC might break it open and handle them pretty well. But we all know Lincoln Riley can't hold second half leads. So,
and then next Monday, Boston College Labor Day weekend finale. Boston College at Florida State. Does Florida State go 0-2?
No, they get it done against Boston College. I think obviously it's like I said, it's a brand new week. They probably went in thinking Georgia Tech wasn't going to be that much. They heard all offseason how good they were going to be.
That's not to mention too that freaking jet lag.
Well, Georgia Tech dealt with it too.
That's true.
Georgia Tech got there later than they did. So I think Florida State bounces back. They have a good game. Mike Norvell might tweak a few things. He might have saw how DJ Uiagalelei have a stroke over here. Get a little more hands-on and see how he played and how he handled things, and he might be able to tweak it. I think Norvell's a good play caller, good coach. I don't hate Florida State, but I definitely saw they were underrated or overrated for 10. I think they have a good bounce back week.
Same. I got Florida State big. Game of the week.
I wouldn't say big.
I'm gonna say big.
21 points is big for them. I'd say it's 21 or under for them next week.
38-14.
24?
Yeah.
I'd say like 38-20 or something like that.
Game of the week, Saturday night, I believe. Notre Dame at number 20, Texas A&M. Is Jimbo Fisher still the coach at Texas A&M?
Jimbo Fisher is in a hammock sipping on $30 margaritas because he's getting paid out for the rest of his life. Because A&M is a joke.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M is a joke too. I think Notre Dame goes in there and punches him in the mouth.
God, who's their quarterback?
Don't matter.
not Notre Dame. Freaking A&M, dude. I know Mike Elko's coming in. He had a really good offense at Duke. Duke did a lot of really good stuff. He's coming in with probably better talent than he had at Duke off the bat. So, but just because it's better talent doesn't mean that it fits your system. Notre Dame did almost beat Ohio State last year in week 2, I believe. So they can play in the big games.
Notre Dame's tough.
Notre Dame is tough, but they're playing at the 12th man. Are they going to be able to handle the pressure
and the heat?
What is it going to be down there? It's got to be hotter than it is up here.
I think I saw somewhere where it's going to be mid-90s.
Yeah. Give me Notre Dame. I think A&M might be a couple weeks off from starting to get the ball rolling for them. I think they have a good year. But give me Notre Dame early on. Is that who you had as well?
Yeah,
Notre Dame
I'm going Notre Dame. This is his second full year as head coach, right?
for
Notre Dame's head coach.
yeah, who I really like. I don't
Yeah.
think he's that big, like mean, tough looking guy like Saban or Venables, or he's kind of on like that Dabo side where he's like more player friendly, kind of relates to him a little bit
Hey,
more
that works more today in today's league, I
in
think.
today's unless you're Nick Saban and you're the absolute one of the absolute best coaches of all time, if not the best.
Yeah, that's different.
That is
Um,
different.
man, that's crazy though. We're talking about it now. We're going into a season where Nick Saban is not the head coach of a football team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's about damn time. Dude's been terrorizing for 20 years.
Yeah.
Um, no, I mean, a season of changes, dude. Like week 1 or week 0 felt kind of normal just because you didn't see anything out of the ordinary. But you start to look out
Thursday,
there.
everything changes.
Thursday, everything's going to change because you're going to sit there and look at a game and it's going to say, um, Colorado in the Big 12, which we've all seen that before, but
I don't think it's going to hit. I don't think it's going to hit everybody until Friday night live in a game where you see the SEC logo
on
in
Oklahoma.
Norman. Yeah.
The other, honestly, I think the game where it's going to hit everybody is it's either going to be it might be that USC LSU matchup. Just because USC is so like you look at USC and you're like they're Pac-10, they're Pac-12. Like Oklahoma's been Southwest Conference, but the Pac-12 has been around for so long, or the Pac-10, 12, whatever you want to call it. They've been around for so long, and that logo has been so on brand for SC. I mean, it's been like what 100 years is what that conference was up, or like 80 years or something. Then you go in and you see a Big Ten logo on that USC jersey. You're talking about Northwest, Midwest schools with that logo, and then all of a sudden a California school has it. I think that's when you'll kind of realize, like, okay, this is different. I think that's going to be the moment for me.
Other than that, man, I think we went through all the games. I like the way we ran through. It's pretty fun. Next week, it's on to week 2, and then we'll have a little bit longer of a show because we'll talk about the entire NFL slate too. So
talk about slates, talk about results.
Yeah,
because next week we're gonna have results. We're gonna have who looked good, who didn't look good.
We're also gonna have a lot more to talk about with the NFL because next Monday and Tuesday is cuts.
It is cuts, yeah.
Yeah. So,
oof.
Yeah.
Man, that's you're talking about the ultimate high, the ultimate low for people in that moment, where everybody's here not knowing what's going to happen, and it either goes one way or the other. After watching Hard Knocks for a couple seasons, man, it's got to suck. And there's, like I said, it's ultimate high, ultimate low. But yeah, are you keeping up with the Bears Hard Knocks?
I usually wait until 3 or 4 weeks are out, and then I'll binge watch it. Yeah. I'll probably do that this weekend.
Caleb is a character. Obviously, you didn't get to see that much of him at Oklahoma like that. I didn't really pay attention to him when he's at USC, but dude's a character. But he can ball. I might have completely whiffed on this guy. We'll see. I was like, there's no way he's going to be able to outrun or just escape the pocket versus these dudes in the NFL. And then that throw where he's fallen to the left and completely lasers it down the sideline. He did what he did in college. So if I'm wrong on this dude, so be it. But he looked damn good in the preseason for the time he was in. So I think that's going to be another fun topic of conversations is
Players throughout the year.
I think the Bears have if Caleb is actually that dude, the Bears have a legit shot. They have all the offensive weapons you could want or ask for if Caleb is able to feed it to him. I'm interested to see what happens with Drake May and Joe Milton. You got two rookie quarterbacks up there fighting it out, even though I think Drake May is probably the better option right now. We'll see what happens with Penix, see if he ever gets a shot this year with Kirk Cousins out in LA or Atlanta. Some fun rookies to keep an eye out for this year, though, for sure.
For sure. We'll talk more about him next week. Tomorrow, A24 month ends. We talk Love Lies Bleeding tomorrow, 7 p.m. Until that, man, next Monday, NFL Week 1, College Football Week 2.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm excited.
Unless anything else you want to bring to the table today, that'll be it.
I think I'm good.
Enjoy the week of college football, everybody. We'll talk to you guys next Monday, Labor Day, as we get ready for NFL season week 1. Have a good week.